Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sloss and Humphries on the road. Thank you very much for tuning in to listen to us talk shit with each other. This is, I know there was a New Year's special, but we don't really consider it a New Year's special, the first one of the New Year, because we were fucking half cut during it. I would say this is the first official podcast of 2023. I am boringly sober, which I think makes me more coherent. And but then I'm not fucking sure. I would be genuinely interested to people who regularly listen to the podcast if you notice any difference in me when I'm stoned all the time and when I'm sober all the time. Because I asked Cara about it the other day, and I was like, "Do you notice any difference in me when I'm not stoned?" And she's like, "It's slightly easier to get your attention, and that's about it." Like, I thought it made me sillier. I thought it made me like dumber or whatever, and then I realised that I'm just like that all the fucking time. So who knows? Anyway, me and Kai talk a bunch of fucking shit on this one. We get into a big long argument about Apple, and then we start talking about the state of the industry. We start talking about self-loathing. It's a lot of self-reflection because it's a fucking new year. It's the new year. That is when you fucking self-reflect. If you want to watch any of our shit, Kai has a special out on his website. I have 2 specials out on my website. If you want to subscribe to our Patreon, you can give us all of your fucking money and enjoy the rest of your lives. Sloss and Humphries on the road.
Muggins and cream and muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
That's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head that makes you laugh. They said it can't be done.
I'm really sore.
Sore?
Hi. Hello. Prodders, anyway.
Oh, aye, that seems
Try
serious.
somewhere else. That's been sore for years.
Lots of abrasions. I thought the outside would be, fine, but the inside.
I've had my nose broken loads.
Have you?
Aye. I've been kicked in the face a bunch.
Aye.
Once in a fight of a doorman.
I remember that one. I remember that phone call.
Once when I went to do a low header as the central defender, I was clearing it.
Aye.
And I got the ball first.
Uh-huh.
Regretted my decision immediately. And I took a knee to the face in rugby.
I took a knee to the face in rugby. I was in high school, and there was we're in first year, and we're doing the scrum. And there's a guy on the other side. And here's the great, I went to school called Wade Academy, and the thing was, Wade Academy, I would say 75% of the pupils were really fucking sound. But because it's Fife, there's just always scum. There's always scum that fucking bleeds through. As an adult, I can sort of say, it probably wasn't your fault.
You were in the new money school, were you?
Well, no. Now it's new money. They've literally knocked down our old school and built a new one on top of it just to, get rid of all of our memories. But as an adult, I can look back and be like, all right, all the kids who were pieces of shit to me, realistically, were having really bad times at home. All that's learned behaviour.
Yeah.
That was their outlet for whatever reason was violence and bullying and picking on people. But at the same time, if I were to read the Fife Free Press and find out that Callan is dead, I don't think I would. I think my dry January would be.
Is this one of the dinner ladies?
Masturbating. Some fucking kid kneed me in the face. I managed to turn my face at the last fucking second, but it was just, I've never broken my nose.
Nah.
Thank fucking God.
But you nearly give them an orbital. Take me orbital.
Man, if I was to get kneed, if my nose was to get broken, I think I would have to end my life, because you can't smash this and repair it.
It would be really prominent. Can you tell I've got a broken nose when you look at it? Or
Yeah.
Did I need to point it out?
Well, there's just so much going on with your face that it's not.
Where's Wally? So I'm really sore because I played football 5-a-side.
Now, have you made the same mistake that I did when last time we played 7-a-side, and afterwards I was like, oh my God, I'm in absolute pain, I'm in so much agony. Clearly that's because I'm unfit. And then turns out 2 days later, it's because I had COVID.
You had COVID.
And it was all the muscle pain that I was actually getting. Being like, I don't think I used my neck much in football. Well, that's not true. Where'd he go?
Boom, boom. Watching the Formula One. I've got my trainers didn't work on wet AstroTurf. And I slid around everywhere, and I try and my games turn a pace, and I don't have that anymore. No. Not really, especially with slippy trainers on. And I was just slipping around and foul now. I've got fucking grazes off the AstroTurf on my body. All my muscles are sore, my fucking hips are hurting.
It's mad
I didn't know how much of it was like my footwear and falling over, and how much of it was just being a 39-year-old, and I have to just accept that now. If I play football, that's gonna hurt for a bit.
Yeah, aye. And also, AstroTurf is really like, don't get me wrong, I can understand the theory of why it exists, and it's certainly better than, gravel. There was, man, they used to, I mean, I know you belong to a generation that probably had it fucking worse, but man, in our primary school and high school, we were like, where's the football pitches? They're like, we've sprayed it on concrete.
Aye.
And you're like, you fucking what? Yeah, guys want a football pitch. So we had a big fucking car park. So we painted over all the car park lines, and we just put a football pitch there.
It was class.
Enjoy.
Stay on your feet if you can. So we had the square, we called it. It's because on the council estate they had like this part where they were going to build garages, and then decided that they weren't going to spend any more money on this council estate. So they've just got the plot where the garages were meant to be, and it's half of it is allotment walls. The pebble dash into the fucking community gardens. You know what allotments are. I'm tiny, like, you've never heard of allotments. And then the other two were like the neighbours whose the ball goes into their garden every fucking time. If you move into them end houses where your wall to your garden goes into an open space, like, just embrace it that you're a garden ball guy.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? We had one family on the end, right, that would just give the ball back. In fact, they would say, just different knock, just jump out, I get the ball.
Our neighbours in where we grew up, but they were literally beside the park. And they were like, just jump over the fence, lads, but do your best to not jump on the rose bushes or the things. Here's the bit of the fence. I think at one point, Kevin across the road, literally, like, with a saw, cut the bit in the hedges where he wanted us to jump through, and only that. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Or
100%.
you can be the ball Nazi who everyone hopes you fucking die. That's the reason why shit's getting posted through your fucking letterbox. That's why people were laughing when your wife died. It's because you're a cunt. It's because you're a fucking cunt.
That's it.
Aye, that's it.
Cunt on one side and then the fucking... But then pebble dash walls were like, when you're playing a hostile game of football, when it's a close fought game and the ball's near the edge, and you both sprint and ram into each other against the locker, we call them the locker walls.
Why?
The lockers over the lockers, allotments. It's just like, kind of in a game of football. Oh, it went over the allotments. Lockers.
Yeah, but there's no, I don't like the abbreviation because there's no K in allotment.
Lotters doesn't work, man, especially...
Lotters works.
I know, but you drop the T in my accent. Lotters. Lotters, it's not the same.
When has dropping the T ever fucking stopped you cunts from saying anything?
I know, but we're just lockers. It's just, they're kind of lock a while.
But locker's already a word, and they're not lockers.
Aye, but that's a lock a while.
Well, unless you were calling it the Hurt Locker, in which case fair, but that movie wasn't out yet, so I don't think so.
I hope it's a Geordie thing and not just a me thing. I got your joke as well. Sorry about that. I was thinking through it though. I was like, let them enjoy your joke. This is another one. It might be like another one like poop, where it might just be my street.
Aye.
But I hope other people in Newcastle refer to the allotments as the lockers, and I'd like to get feedback on a postcard about that, or poker as I call them. Loads of people got back in touch saying that people in their families save wrapping paper.
Told you. I told you. It's a fucking psycho behaviour. I don't agree with it, but I refuse to be gaslighted in a world where people, no, nobody does that. Yeah, people do. It's like, I think it's one of those things where I don't want to fucking besmirch it, because I reckon like 75% of people who do it, it's a cost saving thing. It's a good thing. It's, it comes from I don't want to say thrifty, because I think there's like negative connotations to that, but you know what I mean, when you're in
thrifty. I think thrifty's fine.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, you're just like you're saving.
Aye.
You're like,
I think it's
like, it's cutting out coupons. Like, people have to do that.
Aye.
However, I think it's a relic. I don't think it's. I don't think it's as much of a commodity now, wrapping paper. You can get a massive roll for £1.
I reckon
you're saving about 12 pence.
There's a whole bunch of cunts out there called Janet who still do it, man. No doubt in my fucking
mind.
Just
principle.
And they've got money as well, right? They've got a job. Their husband's got a fucking job. They go on 3 holidays a fucking year.
But that must be handed down, because I get it, right? I get that my granddad Pete would make sure he ate that black banana with the fruit bowl because he doesn't agree with waste, right? Because he lived on rations at one point. So to have abundance, to have surplus to him is like an absolute fucking luxury. To us, it's normal, right? But that isn't the case for the next generation, so they must just carry it from the previous with wrapping paper for sure. I found in my house a folded up Marvel wrapping paper with tape on it. So that had definitely been taken from a present and folded at the exact creases that it was. And because I found it when Natalie was at the dog park, and it's only crept back up on my mind now. I wouldn't have even spotted it had you not mentioned that on the podcast. But there was some kept.
Now that you mention it, Natalie seems like a fucking wrapping paper saver. I got to save that. She feels like somebody would be a wrapping paper saver.
I've never seen her not just rip off the wrapping paper. However, I could see that. She loves a bargain, right? But when
to
would
the
she...
detriment of joy all around.
Yes.
Getting money off something is so much more important to her than...
Getting there quicker.
or having fun while doing it. Hey, we could either get there in 15 minutes on a luxury vehicle, or we could get there on Thursday, and the whole time you're being whipped.
But you have to leave now.
Natalie, have you booked us a trip around Central Park where we're the horses on the front of the carriage? But you said you wanted to see Central Park, and this only costs £3. It shouldn't cost anything.
I should make money for this. I should be getting paid for doing the thing.
All right, you think the horses are getting paid, Kai? All right, you fucking psycho.
Walk. But Natalie wouldn't have gotten a present that was wrapped with Marvel wrapping paper.
I was about to say, how dare you? I've never bought Natalie a present. If it was going to be anyone, it was going to be me.
Oh, you did buy us a present? You bought us a Christmas Eve box? And you bought us steak pie? Whiskey?
I was stood behind Gara when she handed you that. Being like, oh yeah, God, we're thoughtful. That's not true. I did go pick up the steak pie. Craigie's Farm, if anyone lives in Edinburgh,
Really?
just outside of Edinburgh, there's a place called Craigie's Farm. It's the greatest steak pie I've ever had, and they are so... whatever the opposite of fucking stingy is with the meat. You know, you go to fucking Sainsbury's or Asda and you get steak pie, it's 70% crust, and then there's like, because it folds over the fucking side, and you end up with like 3 bits of meat. Not this, man. There's an entire cow in every one of those fucking pies, and it's class. And if you go up there, there's 2 baby Heelan coos.
Highland cows?
Heelan coos.
Heelan coos.
Heelan coos.
And
2 baby Heelan coos.
And then you can just buy their mother at the shop. Yeah. You're like, this cow, try its mum.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think they also get so the pies aren't from Craigie's. The pies are from a place called Buffalo Farm. So if you find anywhere in Scotland that sells Buffalo Farm steak pies, fucking big thumbs up.
It was a good steak pie.
Do you know why it's called Buffalo Farms?
I'm going to take a little wild guess. Like,
have a go.
Is that they put the buffalo sauce in the chicken wings?
Oh. I was ready to ring the victory bell there. Oh, he's lost it now. Because they make loads of pies and meat with buffalo.
Yeah, that was going to be my guess.
Because there's buffalo in Scotland. Do you know that?
Yes.
I mean, they've been introduced.
I did not know that.
They've been introduced in the sense
right.
that,
Do they migrate? Do they just like cut through Berwick into Newcastle during the winter?
It would be really good to ask my friend little Ali, because he knows so much about fucking nature now that he's a groundskeeper and it's just his passion anyway. He was the one that was explaining to me that they're introducing buffalo and bison, and in the future they're planning to hopefully in the future in Scotland reintroduce wolves because there's far too many fucking deer up here.
And children.
Yeah, they get to...
and just ramblers, people who are just like walking through the countryside.
But here's a question for you.
There's too many chickens at the farms.
I'm gonna go somewhere with this, by the way.
So don't derail me.
Well, no, just to remind me that I have a point at the end of this. Okay. Now, do you agree with hunting?
Yes. No. Yeah. Like if you're a farmer and they are genuine vermin to your trade, trim them down a bit.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that you don't agree with people shooting fucking like white rhinos or gorillas or anything like that? That trophy
like big game trophy hunting is just the fucking narcissistic, fucking elitist, like fucking. I just think it's massive egos. It's like fucking little dick syndrome. Like fuck you, killing a massive beast for sport, right? said the man who ran with the bulls.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Right.
look, yeah. This podcast is nothing but steeped in hypocrisy.
Oh yeah. It's like you didn't know this when you tuned in to watch just two young lads just shooting the breeze in 2016. That you were going to watch a character arc,
And not a good one.
of epic proportions.
Yeah.
where we just realised some ethics and got less fun.
So I agree. I agree with your principle. I've always believed that, why would you go out and fucking shoot an elephant? Why would you go and shoot a rhino? I listened to a very interesting podcast the other day where it was sort of explained in a better way. So in Namibia, for example, right, where there was a population of about 1,000 white rhinos left, right, and they're trying to increase how many white rhinos there are, right? To save the white rhinos, would you go up to a white rhino with a desert eagle and shoot it right between the fucking eyes?
Which one's a desert eagle again?
It's the really good one on GoldenEye.
Is that like a Glock?
No, it's it's the what man?
It's a handgun.
But it's like the big hand. If you and me were to fire
Oh,
a
like
desert eagle, our arm and the gun would end up 30 feet backwards over there.
Right.
It's that
Like a Magnum.
Man, it would be comical if I fired it, right? You would have to it would be like pulling string on my back and I'd fly away like fucking Kermit. Really, it's a powerful fucking
You'd have to, like, you had a little handgun against your shoulder like a clip. Just shooting.
Yeah. Like it would
It
would dislocate both my arm, my shoulder, and I think my neck from my head.
Would I gun point blank range a desert eagle out of a rhino?
Aye, shoot it.
Like me and Colin on the last podcast were talking about being able to save the game and going back to the save point after you've done something really fucking shitty. If I could save the game, I would. And we'll also come to the conclusion that if you could do that, you would live more in the unsaved game than you would in your saved game.
Absolutely, 100%.
You wouldn't know what's actually happening in the actual narrative of your life because you spent so much time going rogue from your save point.
So, in Namibia, part of the conservation tactics, and this isn't just Namibia, they also do this in the States in America. They hand out basically hunting tokens, right? Which is the conservation team, company, whatever it is that is in charge of these animals goes, right, every year you're allowed to kill 10 of these wolves, you're allowed to kill 15 of these moose or whatever, and we're going to auction the chance to hunt these things off. And all the money that you gain from, we're going to auction this off to a bunch of hunters. Somebody bids 150 grand to shoot a fucking moose. We give them the token. They're allowed to go hunt a moose. The moose is theirs. They shoot in the fucking head. We take all that money and we put it back into conservation. All the money goes in there. And I'm like, okay, that's an interesting thing. And what they've done in Namibia is they auction off the right...
I don't like the sound of this. Like, this is like, hey, if you fuck that child for like 100 million, we'll spend the 100 million on the orphanage. Like, just don't fuck the child and give the money.
Not a bad argument. So in Namibia, they auction off the chance to shoot a white rhino, right? And the guy ends up bidding 350 grand for it. Now, the rhino that he's out there to shoot it's infertile. It's so old that it's infertile. It's roughly got about 2 or 3 years left. And because it's a big fucking white rhino, it's killing younger male fertile white rhinos because it's getting thing. And he's paid 350 grand. And by the way, just for the money that goes in this what's the word? Plan, this scheme.
Yes, a scheme.
Has increased the population of the white rhino in Namibia from 1,000 to 5,000.
Aye, but how? Like, pay me 100,000 and you can punch this woman in the face, and we'll put all that money into a domestic abuse charity, and it's going to save lots. But like, hey, he punched a woman, but they've saved lots of other women.
But it's a dying white rhino. It's only got 2 years left. It's aggressive. It's actually ruining.
But this woman here has got a criminal record. She shoplifts.
Aye, good. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not. I'm just saying when it was pitched to me in that way, I'm sitting there going, oh fuck. I mean, don't be wrong. It's awful because it's playing God, right?
Yeah.
And that's what people don't like about what we're doing with animal conservation is we are playing God. But I'm also like, first of all, we are God. Right, no matter what anyone fucking likes, human beings are God. There is no real God in the world. We are in charge of conservation now. We are in charge of what happens to the world, and this is not the nicest way to fix the problem.
We're the devil.
No,
the devil.
No, I think
Depends which side you're on.
Yeah. So my point is, I'm not saying this argument fucking converted
It holds
me,
up,
but
yeah.
it's certainly I didn't know this, and listening to this.
So that animal's got to go. And they were gonna right, it's killing the young rhinos. We're gonna have to like put it in its own conservation, which is gonna cost more money, keeping it alive in this place, right? So we're gonna have to exterminate it for the good of the species.
With the 350,000 money, not only can we keep the population we have already safe, we can employ park rangers to go around and stop poachers, and that's again they put the money into this. Now again, from what I've heard from the articles and podcasts I've read, and this works. I mean, there's always the case of like it could be underhanded fucking bullshit. It could be lies, but you know, plenty of officials are saying it fucking works. So you go from like being like, okay, to save these, me, someone who's against guns and really sort of against hunting, listening to this argument, I'm like, oh fuck. And now I'm sort of back.
It's controlled evil.
It is controlled evil.
It's when we can't eliminate the evil, so we can put the bumpers up and then just like funnel the evil.
Well, I got to tell you, Kai, I'm now fully. My leftism is gone, and I'm leaning to the right now. I think it is absolutely our duty as human beings when there is an endangered animal, and if we have the ability to conserve the many for the lives of the few, that is our fucking job. And also, as a right-wing person, I believe that the most endangered species in the world is the straight white man. Therefore, I pose that in order to conserve us as an endangered species, that once a
We need
year
to get rid of the straight white rhino.
we have an auction where we let women and the Middle Easterns and the blacks and Jews and everyone else from the rest of the world just bid on the right to hunt Piers Morgan. Jordan Peterson.
I'd put the money in.
Yeah, and it's for the good of good of straight white men. It's for the good of straight white men everywhere because we are under fucking attack.
Because that money's going to keep us fucking. We're just going to get put into farms.
Yeah,
we can try and reproduce. Yeah. That's all we're good for.
All you bloody woke fucking liberals out there. You tell me. You fucking look me in my fucking eyes and tell me if I auctioned off the chance for you to fucking shoot King Charles in the back of the fucking head, that you and your friends aren't getting together being like, I reckon I'll remortgage the house.
You'd be in a ghillie suit outside the palace. You know, that notoriously non-grassy patch of land.
Yeah. Why does that bush have a rifle?
Somebody tells a shit joke and they're like, oh, look, tumbleweed. Oh no, side of your head's come off.
The tumbleweed's just you rolling in it. Just doing forward rolls to get closer and closer. Does he have a knife there? That's
what I was saying. Aye. So I'm sore because of the football. Mm-hmm. It's an old man podcast now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Aye.
Also, I think I've already confessed this to you when I was drunk. I'm gonna do it again while we're sober. Now that you're sober, I've completed the orchid and bought an iMac.
Ugh. First of all, do you mean orchard?
The desert. Oh, that's a plant.
Fucking. You meant orchard because it's Apple products, you stupid, unbelievable.
Oops, that was me. That one. Sorry for touching me. You hit us with something that when we're drunk, and I tell you about it, right? I was like, "Wait, I've got it because I've got my office that I barely use because I'm constantly unplugging my Mac from the second screen and from the power and all that, right? And I'm putting it in my bag and I'm on the road or I'm coming here for the podcast and I need my Mac everywhere I go. And then when I come back, I didn't fanny on setting it up and my office becomes storage, right? So I would like a desktop that doesn't leave my office that I can sit down and use when I'm in my office. And you're like, why didn't you just get a PC then so you can do some gaming, play Gloomhaven, like fucking all that shit? I was like, but I just like the way like me photos on my phone will then be on my computer without just having to do anything because I'm in the Apple family.
And at what point in your sad fucking life is the way you look at photos is to go into your office, log into your computer and just scroll. What the fuck are you talking about? That's not your dream. That's nobody's dream. Nobody wants to do that. That hasn't existed since 1997. What are you doing? Just scrolling through pictures?
When you used to have to take.
Oh no! Wait, I forgot. I bought a fucking Mac, so there's no scroll wheel.
Oh yes, I know there is. It's on the.
Oh, it's
just
a
on the
little
mouse.
fucking.
It doesn't exist as a trackpad. I don't know what's wrong with you people. I like this. I've got this dream.
But you
Listen to my dream. I've got this dream that one day I'm just going to sit down and listen to podcasts. I'm going to go through all of my photos, right? And I'm going to tag in people who are in it, just things like these are comedians, so it's in the comedians file. So anytime I want to find a photo, I can use tags to search it and I can find the photo, right? And I'm not going to do that on my phone. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. I also guarantee you're not going to do it on your fucking computer.
No, I'm going to have to out of stubbornness. Because, but also, no, it's the desktop. Like, the desktop on my Mac is the exact same as the desktop in my office now, on my phone. So if I want files, if I'm doing writing, wherever I sit down, my writing's there. If I'm editing a video, that's there. Like, everything, like, to have everything on every device on the cloud is so much more worthy to me than it just running better and being less glitchy. To have everything just like communicating with each other. I'd rather it all be in the same family than it be disjointed.
Yeah, but why not go to the better family? Like, if you want that, why not do that with the better Windows version?
Because I'm already in too deep. I'd have to fucking completely uproot every single device I've got.
Aye, but that's...
Do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
Like, just... Like being like, I got this fucking shit tattoo when I was 17 years old. And you know what? I could get LASIK surgery to get it off my arm and then just get a better tattoo over the top. But I've just decided to make it blend in. I'm just going to get shit tattoos all over my arm, all over my chest, up my neck and into my eyeballs. And I'm only going to get kids to do it. And I'm only going to get kids with no depth perception to do it. I'm just going to double down on this shit thing over and over and over again.
I get what you're saying. However, right, I've been on your computer, right? You've got a fucking excellent computer, a gaming machine. You bought it for Twitch. It's fucking brilliant, right? And I got on, and you're just using it as a clutter desktop to have podcasts on and that, right? You're using 1% of your computer's ability.
Oh, bad.
You need a Mac.
Well, no. I bought this for
user-friendly, idiot-proof machine, not something that's got the depth of personality that a PC does. You need a basic bitch of a computer.
I did have a basic bitch of a computer for so long. I went from, you got to remember, I was PC and that up until I was about 19, 20. And then I did what you did and I converted to Mac. And then my problem with it, I have had 2 Macs that just caught fire. Just caught fire while on my fucking lap. Just halfway through, they went, and it's all a scam. Here's the thing, I can take this computer to any fucking cunt in Edinburgh, right? Any one of the shops, and they'll be able to fix it. They'll go, this tiny thing's broken. How much does that cost to replace? Fuck all, we've got a spare.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da. As opposed to these Mac fucking gurus being like, oh, it's an unknown we've got to take it through the back and diagnose it. Can I come with you? No. Hey, I brought my wife into hospital to give birth. Can I be in the room while she gives birth? Absolutely not. No, we gotta do it through in the back room there. That's great. How long will it take? An amount of time. They come back 50 minutes later. So there's been complications with your partner's birth. It's going to cost you an extra $1,000 to save her life. Can I at least talk to her about it? No, she's in the other room. Can you bring her back? Can I take her to a different hospital? We tied her down. Why did you tie her down? Why? She's giving birth. Are you paying the money or not? No, it's all a scam from top to bottom.
The thing that got me right is that obviously the one that you want to buy is there because it's got the price that's within your range on it, right? And then it's like, oh, do you want to have like this upgrade on it for like £200? And you go, oh, that'll mean I've got it for longer because it's going to stand the test of time by having that. And then you're like, but I don't really need that. The point of us buying this is that like it's exactly what I need. It's a fucking glorified typewriter. So get the minimum one.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, but if you don't get it now, you won't be able to upgrade it. And I'm like, well, that's where you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because I know you can take the back off a PC and fucking put in I've been doing that since I was fucking 12 years old, is putting an extra 8 megabytes of memory or whatever into my fucking dad's computer. So you can do it.
Aye.
You've just opted to super glue everything in.
Aye. To just be bastards. To just wring more fucking money out. Aye.
So I went for the absolute fucking basic bitch model and just fucking...
Also, the reason I don't use this, I expected to be out here gaming much more, and then I became a father, and they just invented the Steam Deck, and I was like, oh, well, I mean, that's what I actually wanted.
And I as much as I'm like in my head, I think I want to do PC gaming. Every time I've done it, right, and I've just got all these keys, and like he had us on Warcraft, which is such a basic game. Like this isn't even a modern game; this is an old one. And you're like, all your buffs are on here and shit like that, right? And I'm there, like I want to have like a little key card. I'm like, F1 is the buff for that. And I'm dead already. Like I haven't got the functioning anymore to do that. So like I need this. Like if I'm playing computers, I'm doing that. So I was like, if I was buying a gaming station, I would have maybe had different ideas. But I'm not going to be gaming on that thing.
Well, I hope you enjoy scrolling your photos on your $2,000 picture frame that's stationary in an office for that one dream that we all have, which is to, you going to come join us for dinner? No, can't do. If only there was a handheld version of this where I could just look through. There is. No, there's not.
If I write a show on that thing, it'd be worth every penny. It's my, I feel the writing process coming on now. Like, when you're like, there's so many obstacles, including the dishes. Like everything, you're like, oh, well, unless I get that done, I'm not going to get my writing done. And you start like, it's mint when you're writing a fringe show because your house becomes immaculate. Everything gets ordered.
No, you procrastinate. You do every other thing apart from writing the fucking show.
If I come round to your house and all your comic books are in fucking alphabetical order or whatever, I'm like, oh, Daniel's writing.
Yep.
It's part of the process. So this splurge on myself is part of the process. Even though I'm probably going to come up with the idea seconds before I go on stage, scribbling it down, and then it'll work, and I'll listen back to the recording, and I'll add in a line. Or I'll send the recording to you and Nelson, and then you'll go and write. What about if you do it this way? And we'll like, I'll probably end up growing my jokes in the same way. But I've just got this weird fantasy that I'm going to get up one morning and just get me coffee and just sit down in my dressing gown, my pipe, and I'm going to write a fringe show.
My problem with the fucking writing process is because I think there's different times of the day when your brain is better for it. Now, mine's is not the morning, right? I've tried writing in the morning. For some people, that for a lot of creators, they're like, do it first thing in the morning. I'm like, if your brain is up at that time, congratulations, good for you. If I try and feed my body at 7 a.m, my body is like, what the literal fuck are you doing here? My brain is like, we're not here to chew. You can pour coffee down. Well, I can open the throat so coffee can go down your fucking neck. Chewing's not an option. Talking's not a fucking option. None of these other things. I think my most creative time, and certainly when I'm I'm so good at right now, I'm in a really funny mood, is at like 8 or 9 p.m. I'm not fucking going out at 8 and 9 p.m. to write a fucking show. That's night time.
People want your attention then.
Aye.
Your lass has just finished work, your kid's just got to bed or whatever.
It's
right?
me and Cara time. Like, I'm like, fuck, am I like, I'm just going to go and listen to the 90 fucking minute show that I know back to front in order to try and get it down to... I'm not doing it.
I've just realised I don't have my wedding ring on and I just look like I'm going through a rough time. I'm just buying loads of Apple products to fill the void left by my wife. I came straight from the gym.
Oh, okay. You take the wedding ring off to the gym? I've done a wedding ring.
You hold the barbell. It's fucking not very good for it. Well, it's just fucking... That's probably lifting bang heavy weights at the minute, man.
Do you not want to put it through a Lord of the Rings chain?
Tuck it in. It looked like just deed. Kiss it before I do my deadlift now. That way, Barry.
Deadlift! They're inviting me a
everywhere I go. Oh. Sorry, what was my point there? Writing that time of night would be perfect. Like if I reckon I'd be writing way more if I was a divorcee.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'd write a book. Like I'd fight because at that time when like fucking nobody's thinking about you in the evening.
Yeah.
That would be the most like that's probably why like all artists are tortured because the fucking. I guess the film that void of loneliness or something. Fuck knows. I don't know. I'm just too happy to
I do. It is this fucking thing, and I know lots of comedians feel this way, and there's an ongoing discussion about it. And it's probably not just comedians. It's probably everything. You've touched on it there, which is the tortured artist thing, which is there's always this fear as a comedian, which is if you become happy, you will be less funny because humor normally comes from pain, struggle. Adversity, things thrown at you, and most of the time happy things. They're just happy. They don't need to be fucking funny or getting joy from. at the moment. And you get plenty of people, I've seen, I can't remember what comedian it is, being like, oh, that's such an insane way to see the world, as if you're going to be less fucking funny when you're happy. As somebody who's much happier than I was when I was 25, I'm so much less funny. I am palpably less funny than I was.
You're just easier entertained when you're happy. You find stuff like... You find simple stuff funny because you're already in a positive disposition.
Well, I'm also trying to impress less fucking people.
Yeah.
I'm like, your opinion means less to me because I've got people now close to me who I love, and their opinion means the most to me.
It's hard to seek the validation of strangers when you've got just validation of loved ones all the time.
Yeah.
So it is a harder place to write. I tell you where it's fucking annoying. The place I come up with good ideas the most, right, is if I'm driving listening to music. If I'm driving listening to an audiobook, I'm not thinking of shit because I'm listening to the audiobook. And if I got nothing for it, I punish myself for rewind it and fucking snap back into it, right? So I don't let myself think that way, which is most of how I drive. But if I'm driving listening to music, I'll have ideas and it's frustrating because I'll be on the fucking M8 coming here and I'm roast battling Cullen, think of a fucking belter roast for Cullen. And again, right now I'm going to have to fucking write that down when I pull over. And then I pull over and say hello to you, come to your podcast. And then I'm like, oh shit, I'll have to write that down after. I'm already clutching at what it might have been.
Aye.
So, like, if you're in a position to not write shit down, and that's the place when you think the best. What a shit catch-22 that is.
Aye.
There's got to be a way around that. I mean, I guess voice memo would be the way around that, but, like...
It's just something so inherently wanky. Like, I think if I was ever in my car and a joke came to me and I went, okay, Google, jot this down. Rhinos. They're an endangered species, and the way to save them is to hunt a select few. Also, white men are in debt. I think if I ever had a brief moment of self-reflection of doing that in my Tesla, I would go, you know what? That next lamppost is what I need to go through. Like, unclick the fucking belt, straight off the road, send me fucking through.
Put your feet where the airbag's about to come in, just out the back window.
Hold on. So the Tesla hit the lamppost, but his body's 30 feet behind. Look, we got it on one of the road cameras. It looked sick. It makes no sense. Yeah. We've got a bunch of physicists in here. They can't make any sense of it.
Anyway, that's the bit. The right Rhino bit's not the bit. The examining, the writing it down, that's the bit. Write that down. Doing OK Google of that being the bit.
I'll never not can.
And then just Russian doll the bit, and then that's an entire show.
I used to. I remember when I was younger. When I don't know if it's necessarily I had more passion for this job. I don't want to say that, but I think when I was younger and less successful, because this job felt out of reach, it was something I hadn't attained. It was always, God, I want to do this. Man, there were times when I'd be at home still living with my parents, and I'd wake up at 1 a.m. and I'd have a joke come to me, and I would literally take myself out of bed and I'd go downstairs, open my laptop in the kitchen, I'd sit and fucking write down. Nowadays, if I wake up at 1 a.m. and my brain goes, here's a funny joke, and I'm like, my phone is there. It's there. It's within fucking hand reach. I'm like, oh well, today a joke died. That's nothing. No, I'm like, I'm a genius. I'll come up with another one.
And then it's July and you're like,
what? I'm pretty sure I had some funny thoughts this year, but according to my phone, it's just shopping lists.
And I know fine well that if I just go back and start listening through podcasts, there'd be stuff that got captured. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing that. No. I'm not going to do that when I'm going for my photos tagging Brucey in them. Who I picture future me to be is a fucking square. Every time I'm like, oh, I'd like to do that, I'd like to do that. Like, why am I trying to create like somebody that's going to hate their life? as an ideal. My ideology for myself is an absolute fucking loser.
Yeah. Well, I'm noticing that during this month. I've been like, you know what, I'm going to give myself structure. I'm not getting drunk tonight. I'm not getting stoned tonight, so I can wake up at 7 a.m. I'll come out. I'll do some gym. I'll fucking meditate, and every morning this is great. This is about every day's gone so far in January for me. My coffee alarm clock goes off at $6.50.
Does it make you a coffee?
Makes me,
Yes.
Makes me a wee espresso.
Because I remember you showed us that. And I was like, he's going to somehow turn that into a clothes rack. They're somehow going to end up with like towels and that hanging off it.
Oh man, I haven't used it in 4 years, but I fucking dusted off.
It's old relic.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I haven't used it in 4 years, but the tray that keeps all the coffee beans, I'm like, that'll still be good. I'm like, coffee doesn't go off. What's that based on? A gut feeling.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have a lot of gut feelings later on? You fucking moron. So I wake up, coffee alarm goes up at 6:50, makes me my coffee. Garrett and Kaelin are both able to sleep through it. I drink my coffee, I put on my gym stuff, I go outside, I walk to the office, I step over that fucking tree, get in here, I do a bit of cardio, I do some stretching, sometimes I do some abs, and then I sit and I meditate. And the entire time I am meditating, right, all the intrusive thoughts in my head are, you fucking wanker. You fucking
And you just have to watch the thought of calling yourself a wank. I just float off and dissipate into nothing.
And I'll be like,
and
that's
return back to the breathing.
I'm not my own thoughts. That's not who I am. Just observe that thought. So, oh, here comes another thought. What a fucking loser. It's the same thought again. But that's not my thought. That's not my thought. Those thoughts are like cars passing on a motorway. You're not in charge of them. You're not in control of them. You're just there to observe them. This one's going past. Oh, good. Here comes another two. I'm a wanker again, aren't I? I'm just such a fuck. And then eventually, and that was it over. I'm like, I've just called myself a wanker for 10 minutes. There's nothing relaxing about this.
Your version of meditating's like fucking playing Beat Saber on God mode. Just slashing through lots of intrusive thoughts. Like, fuck off. Well, now I feel refreshed. You got a big sweat on and that.
I get outside, and you know what, man? Here's the thing that fucking kills me, and this is the bit where because here's the crux. That isn't me. This isn't who I fucking am, right? This is the idea of who I want to be in my head, because for some reason the deep inner me hates who I actually am, and I've got this idea of what the perfect me is, because I'll never be good enough for myself for whatever fucking reasons in my childhood or fucking brain chemistry or what fucking ever. Every time I try and change myself, I'm putting on makeup, man. That's all I do in January. I put on fucking makeup and I go out and pull a fucking hot guy. And then it gets to February and I'm like, I'm not putting makeup on anymore. I can't be fucking arsed with this shit.
You're pumping the brakes. You still got to get back to being you. You're just pumping the brakes, that's all. Otherwise you could end up a slob.
And I think that's the fucking con of all of these public speakers and these self-help books is I think there is a population, I think there's a percentage of the population in the same way there's a percentage of the population who is better at football, there's a percentage of population who have photographic memory, right? It's just this, they've got this thing in their head where they can just look at a page and it's memorised and they can go through that. It's just a fucking nightmare. There are a small percent of the population who are able to change themselves, right? But I don't think that's true for the rest of the world. And these fucking 3% of people who can change themselves and did change themselves, they just go out and sell this fucking lie. And this lie lasts a month, 2 months, 3 months.
But somebody bought the book.
Matt, we're all fucking human beings. Like, eventually, unless you're a fucking monk who's training fucking regularly, to fully change your fucking lifestyle and your reaction to things. The way we react to things happen over the years of our life. We've discussed this on the podcast before, which is, it's like how rivers are formed. The way you react to something is first a trickle through some sand, right? And then the second time that sort of thing happens again, your brain just goes, oh, this is the easiest route to that. And over years and years and years, you have this gorge of, this is how I cope with this thing. And you get books like fucking, what's the one you were reading?
Atomic Habits.
Talking about how you fucking change that thing. And look,
mushrooms is the answer for snowfall to fill the groove so you can make new ones. Take acid.
You think?
I reckon so. I reckon that fires up new pathways in your brain that you can use.
I don't know.
I think if you're fucking stuck in your thought patterns, I reckon a good fucking day on the shrooms will sort you right out. I'm not a doctor, but just give it a shot. Just give it a bash. What, you're not going to become a fucking airline pilot, so it's not going to cost you your job unless you did at work. I'm the opposite of you with meditating. Oh, yeah. Now when I sit down and meditate, it's just fucking every now and again a thought comes and it's fine. I can just let it drift off, right? On New Year's Day when we're here, I'd still try to keep my habits up, even though like we were partying, drinking, and all that, right? And I was like, I guys did that leave the next day. I'd done most of my habits yesterday, and I was like, because I'd done my workout, I'd done my fucking cold shower and all that. I didn't even be meditating because like, I was around people all day and everything. She just went, aye, but I'm sure there was 5 minutes of the day when there was nothing in your head.
Yeah, minimum. Fucking bare minimum.
I'd even have an internal bully like.
Oh God, yeah. No,
I got this little hype man that comes in, guys. You're classy. And I'm like, I'm not, bro. It's me. It's the actual.
I used to absolutely have a hype man in my head, and now that I'm 32, I realise it was delusion.
Oh yeah,
it was 100% fucking delusion, man.
I didn't let that guy go, bud.
No, you have no.
Like I feel like I've trained that guy because he was a bit too much.
No, I upon reflection didn't fucking, man. Don't get me wrong. If I could have the fucking ego that I used to have in my 20s, I'd love it for a fucking day, man. I truly believe there was a point in my fucking life where I truly believed I was in like the top fucking 50 comics of all time. That was in my fucking head. I was like, there's no way. Now, 32, I'm like, hey. I'm a successful comic, and that's more than I could have ever asked for. What a fucking lucky situation. Don't get me wrong, I put the effort in, I fucking grafted. But like this, it's not as...
But what do you, like, you are to some people?
Yeah, but not people I respect.
That's who listen to the podcast.
And they know my feelings towards them. I don't think I've ever pulled punches.
So what, like, do you want to be the top 50 or on the like BBC top 100 list? Like, you want to be in there?
No.
You want to be in there while the mainstream guys?
No. I don't know. But
I was like with comics.
As much as I fucking miss the assuredness that I used to have in my own ability and who I was and the direction I was going, and this infallible confidence in me. Now that I'm older and I'm aware of my anxieties, I'm aware of my fears, I'm aware of, the things that I'm scared of in the world, and I'm like, oh God, I mean that was because now, and this is what happens when you get older, you see it in fucking younger people, like everyone now that I see online who's screaming about how good they are and how they're the best at this, and I'm like, oh buddy. You're just shouting at yourself. That's all you're actually doing.
Yeah.
You're not trying to convince the world that you're this good. You're not telling everyone. You're trying to convince that voice in the back of your head that you're not. And I say just fucking, I think the goal is surrender. I think you just have to go, you know what? I mean, that's why everyone fucking talks about ego death. I don't think I'm anywhere near there. I'm not claiming anything I'm doing is spiritual in any way. But everyone talks about how ego death is like one of the most important things in the world. At the moment, I think I just have like ego cancer.
Ego's got a limp.
Yeah. My ego stubbed to his toe. Yeah.
Ego.
Yeah.
Under the weather. Yeah, ego's got the Rona.
I miss ego, but I don't. But also, people must have fucking hated me because I wasn't paying attention to how other people fucking perceive me because it didn't matter to me as much.
The self-awareness thing has got to be like it's got to be a pro, and it's got to be a part of getting older. You cannot take that person into your 40s for sure. Mm-hmm. Like earlier on when we were talking about them shooting the rhinos and all that, right? I remember when I was working at the sports centre, one of my mates was going to Thailand on holiday, and he was like, "Oh, it's class! You can get a rocket launcher and shoot a cow." And he was like, "You can get a chicken on the end of a fucking string and feed an alligator with it." Like at the time, with no like why would you want to do that in my head? I'd be like, that's class, that. Fucking hell, how much has it got out there? £1,500, mate. If I start saving new, by the time I'm 30, I could go and feed a fucking alligator chicken. Oh, new, if you were like, I'll pay you to feed that chicken the alligator, I'll go like, yeah, I'm grand, mate. I'm like,
I'll have the chicken myself, like, and I'll turn that into a hamburger.
Can I fire the rocket launcher just in a barrel? so like, to have them moments, like, because that guy, he was having a lot of fun, and I was, and he didn't have any fucking idea about implications and actions and all that, right? But I'm glad I'm not that guy anymore, So like, with that ignorance comes ego. It comes like fucking self-congratulation and thinking your class. So you have to lose a bit of that, I think, to just grow up.
Yeah.
But I still like try to keep my hype man with us, and I try not to regret anything that I was.
Well, yeah, I think, yeah, and I think there is an important distinction to make between self-awareness and self-loathing, right? You can be self-aware and be like, okay, you know, I'm probably not in the top 50 comics of all time, but also that's fine. That doesn't matter. I have an audience that loves me. I have a fucking career I never fucking did. But what you can't let that transfer into is, you know, you're shit. You're not good enough. And I think there's a line there that we're very bad at diagnosing ourselves. Right. Something to you that might feel like self-awareness is actually self-loathing, because you're like, oh, I'm not good enough, and I know I'm not good enough. It's in my head. That's me being self-aware. I'm not good enough. I'm self-aware that I'm not good enough. But that's not self-awareness. That is part of you fucking hates yourself, and you need to get that sorted out.
Yeah, and it's that comparison to Death for Joy thing. Like, it's such a fucking cliched wank fucking poster in a gym or whatever to the sunset. But like, if you're like talking about the top 50 and everything, like, what does that get you? Like, you know, for every year the fucking comic comes out, like, it would be nice to be a comedian's comedian and for other comedians to respect what you do. As you go on stage now, people are laughing at every point the way we want them to laugh, and we're being as good as we could be, yet never in that conversation. But if you can just look at them get nominated or whatever in the fraternity, you're just going, oh, good for you. But like also, I wouldn't look at you like a threat to me position. Or like, I wouldn't hate to follow you. Like, you can look at that and go, I still rate myself as up there. I just maybe haven't got the recognition from some people, and that's fine, because I just need to pass my own judgment, and more so the audience who's paid for tickets has got to pass their judgment. And it would be nice to be in that conversation by the newspapers, by the industry, by the fucking award panel at the Fringe. But as long as you're getting up and doing your job, and the people that bought the tickets are laughing from beginning to end, and you had a nice time on stage, like, is that not enough?
Yeah. Well, also, I think the industry, especially in the UK, is, I don't necessarily think it's dying, but I think very old dead branches are falling off it, and the tree itself is changing. Not necessarily in a fucking bad way. I mean, I know I
saw a comedian who I've known for years, like, love the guy. He was comparing, and he said to somebody that was sat in the front row, "Are you in show business?" And they said no. And then he went, "We'll get your feet off the stage then." That was hack when I started.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for nearly 14 years.
Stuart Francis, sorry. That's one of the oldest hackish jokes that, I mean...
That become the punchline.
Stuart Francis had a really good version of that, which was, he was on stage at the stand, and there's somebody in the front row. And of course, because it's Stuart Francis, there's like 7 comedians at the fucking back of the room just watching him. And he goes to someone in the front row who'd be like, "Are you in show business?" And their feet are on stage. And they go, "No." And he goes, "You should be. You've got lovely eyes."
Amazing. Only the comics at the back laughing.
Only the comics laughing. Everyone else being like, what a weird...
Why is he flirting with that guy?
What an unusual little moment.
Yeah, so funny. But that's like, that becomes the butt of the joke, is the day in the hack bit. And like subverting it. So it's still day it now. You're like, yeah, you've had a flat tire for the last 100 miles of the journey, dude. Like, pull over. Go to a service station. Service your jokes.
Well, I also think it's just, I mean, it's so very... I now understand that it's so very silly to, in a subjective art form, to try and, you know, compare yourselves to others, and also they're creating an industry that is largely unfair and has been unfair, and it's unfair to different people at different fucking points in time. It's changed who it's unfair to. You know, I do believe maybe now comedy is becoming a little bit of a meritocracy for the first time in years, because now it's no longer up to, you know, some fucking head of the BBC to decide what audiences will find funny. Now, thanks to fucking TikTok and Instagram and stuff, comedians like fucking Milo McCabe can now fucking directly, instead of the BBC being like, "Oh, we don't think this character will work on television," and we obviously know heaps of comedy, despite the fact that none of us have stepped foot in a comedy club in 7 years, and none of us are actually funny in ourselves. All we kind of do is we just follow the hype, and then we get that talent, and what we do is we hamstring it as much as we can, but then attach ourselves to it, so any of the talent that falls off this falls onto us, so we can feel part of the project. You've now got people who are like, "Oh, well, fuck this," and just get their audience straight. Paul Smith is the prime example of why every comedy exec in the BBC should jump off the top of the fucking building themselves. Like, it's and it's interesting to see it go that way. Part of me, man, I fucking really hope I really hope I'm right here. I really hope that is the change that's going through, and there's this.
Self-productions. Like I see a little panic from like agency and producers and stuff like that from how self-sufficient comedians can be just because of like the easy access for video editing and they've been able to self-promote on the internet and stuff. Like I feel like anybody in the industry really needs to fucking step up with how much input they have, because like it should literally be them that are like fucking now producing the clips and putting the clips out and stuff. It shouldn't be left down to the comic to do it, really, if there's producers involved.
Yeah, but they just don't. I think there's only like I think TV producers are a lot like journalists, which is 5% of them are good and in it for the right reasons, and the rest are just in it for their own version of attention.
Mm-hmm. I'd done something the other day that every comic hates to do, but I found it quite healthy how easy it was in the end. I watched one of my shows back and I dreading doing it, right? So my website should be live now. I've been getting a new website done, so when this comes out, www.kaihumphries.com should have my show Punch Drunk and then all of my ticket links for my new tour. I'm going to be doing Manchester, Liverpool, London, Leicester and Glasgow. I think that's it. But that's going to be on the front page. It'll be my show for free that you can watch and my new show, which I'm touring, which you can buy tickets for. But before I put the show online for free, I was like, I better watch it back. I recorded it in 2017 and I haven't watched it since I started selling it in 2018. So what, 4 years, 5 years, 4 and a bit. I fucking really braced myself for watching it back and I really liked it. I was like, I forgot about them jokes. I liked how I told the story. I liked the story itself. I kicked myself that I missed a quite obvious callback. That was the only time I was really brutal on myself, was as a writer, when I was like, you told that fucking show 100 times and you didn't notice that, you fucking idiot.
But that's
only because I didn't watch it back. If I'd watched it back, I would have funded it. If I had brought myself to watch it back in the creative process, I would have funded it.
I don't know. I understand where you come from. I don't necessarily think that's true, though. I think some of the time that it takes, even if you were to watch the show back, that's not taking a step back from the show. You have to take it a certain number of steps backwards before you can see the whole thing and go, And I think it's something you would be able to fucking train into yourself. But if that training process is watching my stand up over and over again, like, cause man, we do it when we write new jokes. Is, man, I listen to the second I come off stage at the stand after doing a new 10, I get in my car and I listen to it fucking back.
And realise it was a bit hurried. And if you slow it down or whatever. Another thing that I was like, I didn't want to pick into myself too much because I really didn't find the process of watching it back bad at all. I enjoyed the show.
I'd honestly rather watch myself masturbate. Like I would rather go on fucking Pornhub and for whatever reason find a fucking video of me masturbating and see my own cum face.
But you know me, I'd be watching myself going, oh, look, my abs look right there. Like, look at my left arm while I'm flexing. There's veins in my bicep.
Fucking hell, 3.5 minutes.
Everyone else would just look at that ugly grunting face and I'm just like, right, what's good about it? Find the good stuff, focus on that. Now, there was 3 moments, and 3 is too many, where I used the same turn of phrase.
Which was?
The fruits of your labour.
Oh, God.
That was a bit, like, the third time it hit, I was like, why do you keep saying that, man?
Yeah. Was it in a book that you read that day? Is it just...
I have fucking no idea, mate. I don't know. It's not like I say it all the time in day-to-day life. But it was like, it was because the audience that were in were the people that raised the funds. And when I showed the video of the fundraising, I'm like, look at the fruits of your labour. And then, like, it was the fucking Ricketts scratch card thing, where I was just like, now sit back and enjoy the fruits of his labour. Like, what the fuck did you say that for? That's the fucking killer. Like, in that, I guess that's the point where, like, some people in a negative disposition would watch that and go, well, I'm not putting that on the internet. I can't put that out.
Well, but also it's the thing of, like, as the artist, nobody scrutinises your work as much as you do.
And I feel bad that I've pointed that out because they might not have noticed. If they got to watch it, which I think the majority of these will have watched it anyway because I put it free on Patreon when we started the Patreon. Like I should stop telling people I did that because they'll happily just not see it.
Yeah.
But then now I said it, they can't unsee it. I've spoiled it for them.
Shattered the glass.
Mm-hmm. We're going to answer everyone's questions now.
Aye, and if you want to watch any of my specials that I physically cannot watch, Socio is £5 on my website, danielsloss.com, and X is for free. unless you are in the US, Canada, or Bermuda, in which case you can watch it on HBO.